That's right, y'all.
Welcome to the Journey to DevelopHer podcast.
Let's go.
This podcast equips you with the real estate and wealth strategies you can use to develop and enhance your skills, experience, and profits in real estate, while also being healthy on the inside and the outside.
You ready?
We are showcasing some of the world's greatest male and female real estate developers and entrepreneurs. Now it's time to develop. Here's your host, real estate developing queen, Deontay Chantel.
Let's go.
With the land purchase, right? So this is how we were going to work it out. So I have a relationship with a developer, with a builder. He's a builder here. He's like third generation. Okay. So he essentially has access. First of all, he's got the experience. Good. And lenders want to, they want to make sure that the people have experience under their belt. So that's why I partner with him. Secondly, he has the relationships and he has a full-blown construction company.
That's a blessing. Yep.
So it's a total blessing, right? So here's the play. This is what we're doing. Okay. So I purchased the land, right? So I purchased the land cash and then I'm going to add him onto the property. So now he has a vested interest and now he can go to his lenders and get funding for it. And his lenders don't, I'm sorry about that.
No,
his lenders don't, typically they're going to give you draws and they're going to pay you on the back end for the rehab, right? And the bill. Right. But because he has this 30-year relationship, they're cashing him out in the front.
Okay, good. So
and they're also, and they also don't, so they require less paperwork from him. They're not going to make him do the draws on each like part of the project, right? So they're giving him a good chunk of the money up front for us to get started. But the main reason is that he's a part owner in the land that will own free and clear.
Right, exactly.
So I tell my clients that are in the investment space, real estate investment, if you're purchasing land or you own land, land is the one finite thing that you can't just build. So It is a very valuable asset. A lot of people think, oh, I got to get the money. I got to raise money. Money is here. And any investor, all investors, an investor's job is to take their money and make it grow. So if you have a deal where you need money, like money is never an issue. If you have land or if you have some kind of assets that, are in appreciating state, right? So now I do offer business funding. I offer real estate investment funding as well. But that's essentially how we're structuring these real estate, the development here. So I would love to know how you work with your people, because there's so many ways to do it.
Yeah. So for me, so I have different deals going on. So one, for starters, my very first cash buyer, when I started out as a wholesaler, wound up becoming a mentor to me. Okay. He has gone on to start a real estate fund. So with that being said,
is it Julian?
Who?
Is it Julian?
No. Nobody knows, thank God.
Okay.
So one of my partners actually was Jay Morrison's mentor.
Okay.
Yeah, which is a female actually. Like, she taught him a lot about the business. That's a whole nother story. You're gonna edit this out, the podcast.
I used to work with Jay. Jay and I were partners last
year.
Awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, like she was like his big sister, even to this day. Like initially when we were going into the development space, and I'm gonna edit this off the podcast, he was gonna fund the deals, but I forgot what happened. But make a long story short, better money came about anyway. So we have the real estate fund as an option. I have a lot of my own private money people that I use for almost everything. So I have deals lined up, and they're waiting for me to get approved plans pretty much so they can start investing their money. And then in my neck of the woods, we also have, we'll say hard money companies or equity funds where they'll give you, as long as you own their land, or even if you don't own it, they'll give you 50% of what you paid for it or what it's worth, right? And you can use that to, build a strategy to put it towards the construction up front.
Gotcha.
We also have bank relationships, and this is for like different clients, like who just like, I don't have the money. If you own the land or you at least have the land under contract, there's also bank institutions that will give you the money to do the construction and to sell the land to a mortgage client. I probably said that all jacked up. But basically, as long as you have a person that's willing to buy the house, let's say you're selling it for $600,000 and they're pre-approved for $600,000, on paper, they'll be buying the land and also funding all of the construction costs. And overall, they'll be paying $600 for the land. Those requirements are that the builder has to have 12 houses done in the last 3 years. So you just have to make sure your builder is experienced, like you already talked about. So partnerships is very important in this business. That's how I was able to leverage and move as fast as I have been able to. Even leveraging the partnerships with the modular companies if you have to. I say that all the time. They're builders, right? Partner with them, get more done, especially when you're working with the cities. A lot of the land that I've purchased is from my city, like the city of Newark, the city of East Orange, and I've paid like $5,000 for land.
Girl, I'm working on some. Help a sister out.
All it is paperwork and handshakes. Real estate is very political.
Yeah, politics.
Especially development. Like I didn't realize it. I was like, all right, well, now I see it for what it is. I actually have a poli-sci background as my major. For college. So I'm like, all right, great, let's get to it. But at the end of the day, how can you actually collaborate and partner with these municipalities, right? These councilwomen and men, they want to just get the pound.
I have to connect you with my cousin, Adams Construction.
Okay.
He's up there in Newark, and
definitely
they do a lot of work as well.
Yeah, let's set that call up like tomorrow. I was like, no, but no,
today.
Seriously.
We can do it today.
That'd be great. I'm actually well, girl, I'm about to edit this part now. So we don't know each other, but I'm sure we're gonna be like real estate besties going forward. I was engaged to a general contractor. So my business partner, one of my business partners, which was my fiance, we broke up, bottom line. But before we broke up, he had a stroke. So it was a lot of things happening where I had to start rebuilding and restructuring.
Oh my gosh.
He's fine now. With the blood of Jesus healed him, literally. And like a week, like he went back to work in 2 weeks. Like he was healed. Yeah, God is good. We just didn't work out because we wasn't working out.
Right.
But I say all that to say, I was there when it happened to him, it was like a sign from God. All right, get it together, restructure everything. And before he even got sick, I already knew I was using modular anyway. I was just using him to do the foundation, really. I knew everything else was going to be modular because I don't have time to be coming out of character, be ready to curse people out. We ain't doing that.
Right.
I want a smooth process. And that's that. And in real estate, nobody meets deadlines, and I ain't got time. Anyway, so now I'm working with a Portuguese builder for some of the properties. So I actually have some that will be modular, and then I have some that will be built. But I'm only using people that are reputable. Like I want to see bank statements, tax returns. You better have a surety bond. You better have everything, because what I notice is the people that are struggling and they're broke contractors, that's the ones you're going to get crackhead work from. And they're going to do a lousy job. They just want the money. They don't care about it being correct. They just want you to continue to cash flow their life. And we're not doing that. Okay.
Right.
But it's true. Like if you're not financially stable, I'm not going to allow you to work on a project it could be $500,000. I'm not going to leave $500,000 in your hand for you to squander.
Right. If you can't manage the money in your own life.
Right. You ain't managing my money on my.
You're not going to cash out on my property here.
No, not going to happen. And as a female, they're looking for opportunities like this. Right now, everybody's in real estate. Is so sexy to everybody, and a lot of people was going to get their whole head chopped off. Now,
well, that's why I'm gonna be calling you.
Hey, listen. Who do I know in Atlanta? I'm trying to think. I might have a builder for you in Atlanta.
I honestly, I don't.
No, you have somebody. You have somebody. You're good.
Yeah, no, I have a builder, but you know, So I also have a single family I'm working on, right? So I have it under contract for 250. A comp just sold 5 houses up the street for 430 last week. I want like this property to sell or at least appraise for like at least 450. And then that way I could put 100 into it. And it really, I really wanted to appraise for like 500, but that's the plan. And so like I was telling you before, I thought I was going to just flip it. I thought this was going to be my first flip, but the numbers and the area that it's in is just such a highly developed, it's a lot of development going on over there. And you know, if I'm buying it for 250 and one has already sold for 420,
right,
you know, it's a highly appreciating area, right? So I'm like, I think I need to keep this one. You know what I'm saying?
So what's your plan when you keep it? You're gonna like just
So
do
my
Airbnb?
plan is to Airbnb it. So it's not far from the city. It's not far from the city of Atlanta. So I'm gonna Airbnb it, planning to make at least 5,000 a month on Airbnb. So you know, might cash flow 3,000 a month after expenses. And I mean, honestly, if it appraises for, you know, 450, north of 450, I could probably get a lease on it for like 26,700 a month, you know, 2,800 a month.
I was also thinking too, because I just had this conversation about this house that I have that keep on housing. That's a whole nother podcast we're not gonna talk about right now. But if I keep it, if I do keep it, I was gonna do group homes, basically like a group home rental out of it, working with other nonprofits. Only because with Airbnb, what if it's a slow mark? Like for me, right? Most people aren't trying to do Airbnbs in the hood of Newark. Well, no, they're not. They're not doing it.
Well, here's the thing. People
Atlanta,
don't.
you're great.
When people are traveling, they don't know where the property is.
They don't know, but I know. In the summertime, that's not where you want to be. Okay. They be shooting all the time. Not this block. That's not where you want to be. So I'm like, all right, what's going to be consistent? For me, it was the group homes working with, you know, they had the mentally challenged people, they got the veterans, whatever.
Well, how much can you lease it out to them for?
So it depends on how you set it up. If you set it up as you being a nonprofit, which I do own 2 nonprofits. Actually, Journey To DevelopHer is a nonprofit. We just make a profit.
Money Maven Club is a nonprofit too.
Oh, awesome. But I was thinking about specifically making one for that house. You could do $1,200 per person per room. You could put about 2 people in per room. It's a 10-bedroom house. So that math right there is crazy. Okay, forget Airbnb. That math is crazy.
For sure.
Because it's a 2-family with a bonus. Each floor has the first 2 floors. Oh no, it's an 8-bedroom house. Sorry, not a 10-bedroom. 8-bedroom house. So the first 2 floors is 3 bedrooms each, and then the top floor is 2 bedrooms. Yeah. Either way, the math is just crazy.
Yeah, 10,000 a month. I mean, if you can get that on rent, for sure. And especially if you don't, I don't know if you have to run the business, but you know, if you can have another company that comes in, run the business and pay you 10,000 rent, no brainer.
Right. And then they do have programs where you're just renting it out to another nonprofit.
Right.
So you're probably for one apartment, no, it's about the same. So for one of the rents, I know for like a 3-bedroom, you could get about 3,500. That's still more than what you would normally get for Section 8.
Right.
I just want guaranteed money. I'm definitely.
Yeah, no, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all.
Right. But for Atlanta is like the newest tourist attraction. So it's great. I know it's great for Airbnb. And I used to live in Atlanta briefly as a kid, in Smyrna. And what they're doing in Smyrna is just crazy. I'm sure you've seen it. The baseball stadium.
Yeah. That's where I live. I don't live far from Smyrna.
Yep. And I used to live, that's all torn down. They done built condos and houses. And I'm like, okay. What's happening?
Yeah.
Atlanta is different. Well, the Atlanta and the outskirts is different now. I have family in Kennesaw. So anywhere in the metro Atlanta area, you're good with an Airbnb.
Yep.
You're good.
Yeah. And it's like 10 minutes outside of the city. This property is in Decatur. So perfect. I'm excited about it. I was like, you know, like I said, I thought it was going to be my first flip when I first looked at it. But when I looked at the numbers and I actually saw the house, like it's on a level, it has a level lot in the front and the back. I'm like, oh no, this is too good to pass.
Right.
For me, it just, I know I want a house. So we currently live in like a gated community, but we have an HOA.
Right.
And I don't think that, like, this is not the kind of house I want to leave to my boys. Like, I want to be able to have a house that's free and clear and no HOA. Right. The HOA itself is like almost $300 a month. So it's like, you know, they're going to have to worry about paying the HOA plus taxes, you know. I'd rather not. I'd rather have a house that's free and clear. They could just pay taxes and they could have a nice house and it'll be close to the city.
Yeah. Now, what I want to ask you, because people probably want to know, where are you finding these deals at? those are some good numbers right there. So,
girl,
relationships, not networking.
Relationships. No, but that property is actually on the market, so it's on the MLS. Oh. Yeah, the property's listed. Yeah, the property's listed, but like the day before they dropped the price $60,000, it was listed for $300,000. And the day before they dropped it, you know, the agent is calling around because, you know, nobody wants to have to drop the price on the MLS. So the agent is calling around to her agent friends. It's like, hey, I got this deal over here. We're going to drop the price on the market tomorrow, but is there anybody you can bring me that, you know? I'm
surprised they even have that issue in Atlanta.
Well, you know, I think markets all over are just cooling a little bit. And, you know, we're going into winter. So the Atlanta market is just like any other market where it's cyclical, you know, it's cyclical. We're going into
like winter. What month is this? Like 4 months ago,
November.
Crazy. 4 months ago.
Oh yeah, 4 months. It was crazy. Girl, I put in an offer on a duplex, right? It was listed for $475, I think. And I put in an offer for like, I don't know, I want to say like $585.
What?
Girl.
And you got outbid it?
I was number 7.
Oh,
when
no.
It was all said and done.
Oh my God.
I was number 7 and I went $125,000 over asking.
Oh my God. What are your real estate or economy predictions? What do you think is going to happen next?
In the economy?
Yeah, overall, real estate, finance, stock.
Yeah. Well, you know, eventually all markets are going to cool down, right? I think we're already starting to see that in real estate. I think that the reason that the real estate market has been so hot is because interest rates have been so low. So interest rates are going to start increasing. That's going to knock some buyers out of the box. And, you know, with interest rates low, that means a lot of money is in the market and people are just borrowing. So the next stage of that is a little kind of tightening and restriction. So as we start to feel the tightening and restriction a bit, interest rates are going to come up first. People are going to start trying to find safer investments for their money. So right now, crypto is going crazy. The stock market has been at all-time highs over and over and over again, even with the economy still in shambles, to be honest.
The
economy is in shambles, and it's insane to me that the stock market is continuing to hit these all-time highs. Yeah. But eventually it will, right? Eventually it's going to cool off and it's going to hit a sharp decline. So what I think that we're going to start seeing in the very short term, I would say like 6, 9, 12 months, is that you're going to see a lot of people out here making a whole lot of money, right? We're going to continue to have this bull probably for another year, maybe like 9 months. But we'll start to feel inflation increasing. So our dollar is going to go far, way less. And I'm sure you see that already. Milk is increasing, toilet paper, everything. Yeah, everything is increasing. So as that continues to happen, with the combined effect of the changing workplace where, these jobs, talking about people don't want to work, but from what I hear in real life is that people aren't really getting hired, people and jobs, like you said, or I know this was a conversation I was having earlier, but a lot of places are starting to have hiring freezes. What comes after a hiring freeze? They're going to start laying people off because at this point they're trying to figure the numbers out. You know, the dynamics of real estate when it comes to big business and these corporations has changed, because now they don't need to carry these $1 million leases anymore. So the market is headed for a sharp downturn. So the people that are getting ready are working very hard to accumulate all the cash they can now, because it's going to be a buyer's market, you know, once all the shit hits the fan.
I do, you know, I've been slowly anticipating it, but nevertheless, we're buying land, right? So land, you're safe. Even if you decide not to do anything with the land, just buy some. Buy it, pay your taxes, don't lose it. That's the bottom line. Even with real estate, I'm still encouraging.
Where are you buying land?
Anywhere. That's, I'm like, where you find these land deals at in Atlanta, especially in Atlanta?
Well, they're definitely not public. You know, it's not public.
Right. I'm sure it's private or off market. So, I mean, I used to be a wholesaler, right? So I actually just put together a new team, not for wholesaling, but to find me off market deals. I work with a lot of land wholesalers. They deal with mostly the Florida area and Texas, but they did show me how to find land specifically, because all of the land that I've purchased has all been city. And that's why I'm only paying small amounts of money. But I'm like, by the time I wait for the city, I could be doing bigger quantities of development deals. So a lot of it has been through networking. Now I'm using, you know, data software programs that will show me and pinpoint where the land is that's probably free and clear, right? We have another software that'll tell us if it's in a flood zone or a wetland before we even waste our time for marketing, contacting the people. And I can share those off air. I ain't telling you. But you know,
do you have a mentorship program? Do you tell your mentors?
Right now, we are working with a few clients. I'm even working with some wholesale clients, because when people hear that I started off as a wholesaler, they're like, well, what's that? And I'm like, you should know what that is. Go find it on YouTube. But they're like, listen, I don't have time to go on YouTube. I need to know how you went from being a wholesaler to a developer. And I think it's the story that they love so much. And I'm like, I was forced into it because I was that person that loved HGTV too. I just wanted to flip houses, but I didn't have the money when I got started. I literally was a newly single mother at the time, just got fired from a job, just moved out of that apartment with the job I just got. And I was like, you know what? I need to document how I'm going to make money in real estate with no money.
That's the part I need to do. I need to document.
Yes. And you know what? I didn't even document nothing, because
how'd you document it?
I didn't. So when I said it out my mouth, it took me to get my first check. No lie. It took me before the end of that year. So this was like in a June. I got fired like in a July. By the end of that year, I made my first $10,000, right? I did have to go back to work. I wanted to find another job, but I stayed at that job for about a year. I got fired from that job. I'm always getting fired. I'm not a good employee, but I say all at the same. And I spoke it into existence. I said, you know what? As soon as I closed, I was supposed to wholesale a deal that was going to make me $100,000. And I said, as soon as I make this check, I'm quitting, right? I'm not even getting a 2-week notice. I'm out. And God was like, you know what? Bet you got it.
You ain't ready.
Look, 2 days later, I got fired.
Oh.
And I wasn't even expecting it, because I was training someone. I kind of knew
for your job.
For my job. But listen, we needed the help, because he just fired like 20 people. He only kept me. So that's a whole nother story for another day. But I knew I was going anyway, so somebody had to be trained, because I was leaving. It didn't matter. To make a long story short, I never closed on a $100,000 deal, but I got fired. But within, I think it was 21 days, I wound up making $30,000.
Nice.
Okay. And pretty much I never looked back to a real, to a 9 to 5. By God's grace, like all of this is God. Every connection I made is all God. And this is why I hate to sound churchy, but you have to, one, pray over your business. You have to pray on your divine alignment and connections, because one person can make a break. Well, not one person, but who God can pair you with can really
one person.
Yeah,
No, it's
literally.
literally one person. All of this stuff, all of these things that I'm working in with right now for real estate has been one person. One relationship led me to meet my developer.
Wow.
One relationship led me to this property that's way under market. One relationship led me to this land by saying, hey, you know, this is coming up. You should go check it out.
Look at that.
Literally. And, you know, at the end of the day, closed mouths don't get fed.
They don't.
You know, so I just had a baby, but I called him at the top of the year because real estate has just been you know, I knew that I wanted to do something like I was just and I told you when I have some money, I get a little antsy. I'm like, okay, what's the next project? What are we doing with it? Right. And so I'm like, okay, well, look, and I also have all this equity in my home.
Girl,
So
all right, because you
I
didn't
called
take that money
him
out as soon as possible, because that's where the first decline is going to start. So I would start taking that out. Sorry.
Right. So I called him and I let him know, hey, I'm thinking about this. I'm looking at this. I got this, and I don't know what I want to do.
Right.
I'm pregnant. I'm 9 months pregnant right now.
Right now? No, but back then.
No, I have a 4 or 5 month old. Just turned 5 months.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congrats,
yes, but at the time, you know, earlier this year, I was full blown pregnant. I'm like, look, I don't know if I want to buy a house for myself or whatever. I'm like, well, maybe I want to flip some money first and then buy my own property for the house because we're about to have another baby. We need more space.
Right.
But the housing market, you know, 7 months ago was crazy. I told you these deals were going, you know, so quickly and way over market. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna step out of the consumer market. Let me know if you have any deals that's worthwhile so that I can, you know, make a couple flips first. And I'm just going to invest in my house. So I spent some good money getting some upgrades in my house. So I'm like, okay, whenever the time comes, my house will be ready to sell.
Right.
But yeah, I do need to go and get this equity out.
Yeah. That's like the first thing. Yeah. I'm trying to think, who can I recommend? I'm sure you know somebody, but who's gonna not act Hollywood and answer the phone?
My thing is, I just haven't wanted to go through the paperwork of it all. So getting a mortgage when you are an entrepreneur is just a headache and a hassle. And I'm just like,
people.
2 years taxes.
Yes. And there, make sure you don't write off all your expenses because you won't be qualified for anything. But they do have different programs where they will look at the last 12 months bank statements that you have. Right. And they can base, you know.
Yeah.
I've something for that. Yeah. But no, this was great. Let's talk about your group. I believe it's a free Facebook group, right? Or maybe it's not. Tell us about the Money Maven Club.
Absolutely. Yes. So I don't even think I introduced myself, but I'm Shaniqua Nicole, the Millennial Money Maven. I'm a tax and wealth strategist, real estate investor, mom, entrepreneur, and I have a free weekly mastermind that you can do. It's actually a Zoom call where we get on and we mastermind, right? We talk about different financial topics, whether it be real estate or stocks or, you know, really whatever. If I'm working on something and I'm trying to evaluate a deal, I'll get on the call, you know, and educate people on what's going on in my life. Or if someone else has some kind of issue or something they're working through, I allow people to come on, talk about their struggles or where they could use some advice, and we all just mastermind. And it's totally free. So moneymaven.club, you can go there, sign up, join our monthly mastermind. I also have a challenge coming up, and I'll be doing this challenge quite frequently. So just tap in at moneymaven.club. But it's called the One Business Away Challenge, guys, because what I do know is that the only reason that I am where I am in life is because of my one tax business that I started over 15 years ago. That one business has allowed me to make and save multiple six figures, invest in real estate. It's allowed me to sit home, even as an entrepreneur, for 5 months on maternity leave, right? So I know that your dream life, all of the dreams that you have, all of your goals and aspirations can be accomplished through that one business. So I'm having a 5-day challenge where we're going over the best business structure, how to set up yourself for business credit and business funding. Day 3, we'll be talking about how do you market your business. Day 4, we're talking about business operations.
Awesome.
How do you get your financial set up? What do you need to do to manage that? We talked about finances and getting approvals for business funding, but you need to know how to keep your finances in order, right? So day 4, we're talking about setting up your financial systems. And then day 5, we're going over Facebook ads, marketing, CRM, and the back end system that's required for you to run and scale your business. So tap in to moneymaven.club/5 days in order to join that challenge. And if you don't want to do that, you can hop on the free weekly calls where we just talk about whatever is hot on the market.
That's incredible. I encourage everybody to do that challenge. It's so important to make sure that you're actually operating a business and not a hobby.
Yes, ma'am.
So important for different obvious reasons, right? So definitely take advantage of that program. Now, how much is the cost for the program for the 5-day challenge?
So today the cost is only $297.
Okay. Oh.
$297 actually gives you VIP access. We can get on a Zoom. We can sit there. You can ask your questions. We have a kickoff call
Awesome.
that's available where people can get on, ask questions, right? Very high energy. Or if $297 is too much for you today, you can go $97 for general admission. So I've literally packed in over $20,000 in value. And I tell people this because when I work with clients on business funding, you're going to get a minimum of $25,000. So
Right.
on day number two alone is a $25,000 value.
People don't realize. They feel like I can find that on YouTube. No, you can't.
Listen, you can find it on YouTube, but you're going to be looking for hours. You're going to be looking for days, And
the money.
Like I said earlier, it's not about finding the information. It's about implementing. A lot of times what happens is that people get so information overload that they get into analysis paralysis and do nothing. I'm literally laying every single one of these topics out from A to Z about, all of those things, how you can get your business up, going, and scale.
But everyone, make sure you stay connected to the Money Maven Club.
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram at Money Maven Club. You can find me on Facebook, Money Maven Club as well, or Shaniqua Nicole. And if you are interested in working with me, you can head to moneymaven.club/links, LINKS, or you can book your free consultation and we can talk about what you need.
Awesome. All right, everyone. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast, Journey to DevelopHer. Make sure you go into the link in my bio on the Journey to DevelopHer page and the Deontay Chantel page to sign up for all things regarding this brand. All right, everyone, be blessed. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Journey to DevelopHer podcast with Deontay Chantel and her special guest. Listen, we want you to rate and review this podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform and give us a 5-star review. That would be incredible. To follow Deontay on Instagram, just hit up Deontay Chantel. That's DIONTECHANTEL. And also on IG at Journey to DevelopHer. That's Journey to DevelopHer. You can hit all the links in her bio with that. Stay locked in, keep developing, and we'll see you here next time.